ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another One Piece. Well, this is not a One Piece manga review. This is more so a One Piece discussion of the latest chapters because the chapter's been out for a minute, but I was on vacation. I'm back. If you listen to our most recent episode that I dropped today, it is called, hold on, because I want to give you the proper name. It is called We Need to Have a Convo, so let's talk with Lyndon Burton. Basically, it's me explaining just what's been going on this year and why it was difficult and why the pods came out a little inconsistently towards the end. And I think it's me being honest with y'all and telling y'all the truth. So go listen to that. It's very important. And now we're here grinding, baby. You getting this every week. I'm refreshed, relaxed, ready to go. We got my man Jaz with us from the Bros Who Think podcast, as well as the Black Clover reviews. And y'all know him from the One Piece Film Red review, which a lot of people loved his takes. My man Versen. So when Christian can't make it, these are the two dudes that'll be doing One Piece with me. And if they can't make it and Christian can't, I'll be doing it by myself. But either way, we getting something out every week. Let me start with Versen. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. Full of turkey and full of Pokemon Violet. That shit is addicting.
Yeah, I heard the game's great and it makes me want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
How is it the best Pokemon game? That's what people have been saying.
It needs polish, but it's the best Pokemon game easily since, in my opinion, like Gen 4, maybe.
See, that's I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that said, "Give it a patch, and it's the best Pokemon game ever."
The way that I feel it is, I think that if they take everything good from this one and polish it, the next Pokemon game they release will be the definitive Pokemon game.
Real,
you know.
I hope that's the one where they go to Africa because they haven't gone there yet.
Africa's there, Australia. We could also do a little bit more like the Caribbean stuff. Like I liked the Alola region, whatever, but I think they'll take what didn't work in there and like patch it up. But the open world part is like really good. I really the entire time felt like you do whatever I want in it. This ain't a Pokemon review, but yeah.
I asked. Dope. Glad you had a great Thanksgiving. Jaz, how you doing, brother? How was your Thanksgiving?
Hey man, it was good.
We're gonna talk more about it on the Bros Who Think pod, but tell the people,
surrounded by good food, family.
Nice.
Oh boy, I got to sleep. And I'm happy about that.
Look, even though I went to Disney World, I got to sleep as well. It was amazing because with my puppy, she sleeps on my leg. She don't sleep on my girlfriend's leg. She sleeps on mine, and I'm used to carrying an extra 50 pounds when I'm going to sleep, 30 pounds, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So when I slept at Disney World, I was like, oh, I'm light. I can move in the bed. But I want to let y'all know, I'm going to tell my Disney stories on the Bros Who Think podcast. But since this is a manga review, I think it's important to show y'all a new figure that we got, Yuji from Disney World. And I know you're probably thinking like me, how the hell they selling Shonen Jump figures at Disney World? Well, at Epcot, you can drink around the world, which I did. And there's Japan. Inside of Japan, there's this big ass like samurai castle. There's a restaurant in the top. In the middle, there's a dojo where you can, I guess, fight. I don't know. I didn't get to go up there because it was closed. But on the bottom, it starts off with feudal Japan. You can buy merchandise that is straight up from the feudal Japan. Well, not from the era. They're replicas, but basically from that era. And it goes all the way to modern day. And in modern day, pick an anime. Just say one. Say one right now. Pick one. Anyone. Random. Like
Piece.
There. There figures. There. Shirts. Naruto. There. Hunter x Hunter. Full Metal Alchemist. Monster. It was nuts how just thorough and how realistic Disney was like, nah, we blowing out. And there were so many weebs in there. It felt like heaven. I would have got more, but my girlfriend and cousin were like, come on, nerd, let's get out of here. They was ready to keep drinking. And I get it.
Because what you said you got it from Disney, I was like, damn, we are steps away from the mouse even owning Shonen Jump. And I don't want to think about a world like that.
It is possible. But
the mouse is getting a taste. The mouse is getting a taste for onigiri. He's looking abroad.
Look, I also say this. All the food that wasn't by a real chef that like brought their restaurant to Disney, Anything that was ethnic was a bastardized version of it and disgusting. I got a Korean chicken fried Korean fried chicken sandwich in Versen, you know. Jaz, you do too, because of our Discord. Join, link in the bio. I am obsessed with Korean fried chicken. That was worse than a McDonald's chicken sandwich. Don't you ever invoke the name Korean chicken, Disney. It was bad.
Yeah, they just totally phoned it in.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it had a little technical difficulties, but we back, baby. We back. So yeah, that's our Thanksgiving. I'm glad that all of y'all enjoyed y'all's. Super excited for Christmas because, like I told Versen off air, I'm spatchcocking a turkey, baby, and we getting prepared by doing a whole chicken. I'm excited. It's gonna be delicious. But let's get into it. It's time. Let's do the One Piece discussion. We're gonna be discussing chapters 1066 and 1067. We're not gonna go like how normally the structure is. I give a brief summary and then we pick different topics and then jump in and discuss it and review it that way, because there's no new chapter. We're on break. So we're going to just go through and discuss the major talking points from 1066 and 1067. So basically in 1066, we figure out that Saul D. Jaguar is alive. We find out what happened to O'Hara. We also get the backstory on Dragon and Vegapunk. Super ecstatic about that. And that's pretty much 1066. And then in 1067, it is Luffy talking to Vegapunk, basically really learning more just about what's going on with Vegapunk and the giant and all of that stuff. And Rob Lucci is like, yeah, I'm attacking. I'm doing this. And Shaka's like, no. And Vegapunk asks Luffy, can you take me off of this island? So Jaz and Versen, either one of y'all, where do you think we should begin? Like, I'll ask each of y'all which y'all's most interesting thing that y'all think is there to talk about, and we'll talk about it. Go ahead, Jaz.
I think the most interesting thing, I guess if we're gonna go in like chronological order, from 1066, I think it's definitely the stuff with
Saul.
Vegapunk and actually Vegapunk and Dragon. I have my thoughts on Saul, but we'll get to that later. So I really do dig how he's like, how Dragon is like designed literally like Fidel Castro. Like you can see it very clearly. And that this is like one of the turning points that made him like want to start the Revolutionary Army, because he talks about like how he hates war, but he's like events like this are going to keep going on if I like, but I need to like go to war even though I don't want to.
Also, not to cut you off, Jaz, but this goes to your point. I feel like Dragon is a Marine, like 1000%, or was a Marine. And let me give y'all my thing. So was on Reddit, and shout out to it was someone from Japan. Basically, they pointed out that Oda has a thing when he introduces Marines. Every high-powered Marine, when you see them, you get a full body shot and a picture of their head. Whether that's Kuzan, whether that's Fujitora, whether that's Green Bull, whether that's Kizaru, whether that's Akainu, even Garp and Anson Goku. All 7 of those had that. Look who had it this chapter. And I'm gonna put it in there for the people watching the video, but for y'all see that, and you know when Oda does something and sticks with it, that's usually what happens.
It's a theme. Yeah.
Also, there's also the thing with like the Chinese zodiac like animals, and like they've pretty much gone through most of them, because even like some of like the lower rank like vice
except a dragon, huh?
Yeah. So like that's also a very interesting thing I saw the other day. So it's looking possible. I mean,
it makes sense. Like, how else would he get to go to O'Hara? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, he has, like, I at this point, if he's not in it but walked away and had ties, that makes sense to me. Like, before he made his attack or Revolutionary Army, it's like, okay, I left the Marines. I'm not doing what my dad did, where I'm gonna just not be an admiral. I can't deal with this shit. I'm out.
Do you think that also would be Well, do you think that he ever would have reached like hero of the Marine status then in that time? I imagine not, because you probably would have heard
Nah, probably
someone
not.
be like the fallen Marine dragon someone.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the world government also doesn't like to talk about the Revs at all.
And they don't want to like to mention him because if he was a Marine, he's the one who defected. And it's like, wait, a Marine started the Revolutionary Army? That makes the government look horrible.
And he does make a point, which I think is kind of weak because ACAB. He does make a point, Dragon that is, about how in his new world system or whatever, he's not even necessarily wants to get rid of the Marines. He wants to get rid of like the Celestial Dragons in the world government like structure. You know, which I mean, I can agree with. I think we all agree that once One Piece ends, the Marines will still be a thing that exists. They will just be headed under new leadership, and the Tenryubito will have got their asses handed to them, and they'll be either dead or gone somewhere.
And to that point, it's going to be like the Marines are going after the Blackbeard types of pirates, the non-peace mains. I think that'll be the adjustment of pirates like Luffy won't get messed with, but like Doflamingo, you're going to jail, buddy.
I think, I assume Luffy and his crew will still be like chased a little bit like how Roger was chased, but it'll be more of a Smoker or whoever, or Kobe is chasing after him, you know, to fuck with him a little bit, and more of a friendly like test your
let's
thing,
spar.
rather than rather than them being like, oh yeah, we actually want to shoot to kill Monkey D. Luffy, you know.
Versen, you go ahead with some things that you liked in these chapters. You can go 1067, 1066, or some you think is important that we need to discuss.
I think with all this in the background, I did want to say I'm actually really interested in what's going on with the cover stories, the Germa. I mean, obviously there's only so much you can get from there.
It has to connect right now with Mads or whatever they're called. Yeah, I think it's Mads.
Yeah, Mads. It was very important, you know, when we saw how Pudding got snatched, and then the same chapter we saw the results of that. And I think that's going to continue, obviously. There's a reason why he's not getting off of it. You know, I think that we're going to get some subtle, more Vegapunk backstory from these chapters. And it also might be a potential landing spot for where Vegapunk might be sheltered, either with the Revs or with Mads. Or for all we know, Dragon's going to appear in the cover story and be like, yo, work for me now, or some shit, or can we work out a deal? Because in both the chapters, they make a point of saying that a big reason why Vegapunk hasn't joined with the Revs is because he's like,
they're poor.
They're like, y'all broke. You're all broke boys.
I'm trying to do science and I need money, like straight up.
Yeah, you know, which I mean, on one hand, you can say like, oh, well, that's still kind of scummy. But at the same time, it's like, no, like he literally needs stuff.
Dude is inventing the internet with his punk records, like, which is crazy.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you know, the cause is the cause or whatever, but like you need R&D. And the Revolutionary doesn't seem like they have like any money benefactors. Like we've never seen them tied with like the underground mafia types or whatever. They seem to mostly handle themselves pretty clean. So, you know, as far as I can tell, it's probably a pretty shoestring operation. You know?
Exactly. And
they didn't even did one question. Did they take the Tenryubito gold from that island they freed from Pinkbeard? I don't think they did.
No, I don't
know for sure, but
I think they gave it back to the people.
Yeah, like, you know, now granted, maybe the villagers gave them a little bit, but like I said, probably not a lot.
They don't seem like that type of
otherwise they'd be like bastards. It's probably very much like a Luffy thing where they might get like rewards sometimes, but it's never like
hey, maybe rewarding food or a party, but like it's not like, hey, pay me 500 berry. Which is ain't shit. Like anyway.
So anyway, exactly. So all that to be said, it's, you know, I'm very curious about where that's gonna land, because I know we did it once with the pudding thing, but I don't think it's gonna stay that way. We're definitely gonna get at least a couple more touch-ups on you know, for all I know, maybe even they'll like wander upon Sabo wherever he is right now.
And or maybe he tries to no, Vegapunk. I'm thinking of something different. Okay, but now I do think there's something interesting. I think Vegapunk and Dragon are contemporaries. Like you see that when they're standing together, and it just makes me interested of who else is a part of that contemporary group of people coming up. And I feel like if Akainu isn't a part of it, he was their young boy.
Oh, he was like their opposition, or like he.
Not their opposition, but their young mentee, and he ain't learned
shit. Okay.
I've always felt like Akainu, like, so look, at this point in the story, I genuinely feel
So yeah,
Yes.
Jazz, what you saying about Akainu?
Yeah, so like at this point, I feel as if maybe Akainu's beef isn't directly associated with pirates. Maybe his beef is like the guy who's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna change the system. So like, you know, it might be disguised as like I hate pirates, but maybe he doesn't like the way the world government is ran. So maybe he was under Dragon for a while, but then maybe Dragon did something, and it kind of was like, no, I don't really mess with that, because like in Marineford, he never referred to Luffy as Straw Hat until like the end.
Yeah, it was
Before
just Dragon's breath.
Dragon's son, like he had a vendetta. So
that's why I'm thinking it's like he was their young boy. Like he was the guy that was like, if Dragon was let's say a Commodore, then Akainu was his captain, or if Dragon was a vice admiral, then Akainu was his Commodore, some shit like that. I feel like Akainu is Dragon's Tashigi. I'm about to look up the ages to see how real this
I just did that to clock in. They're the exact same age.
Ooh, then never mind. They're rivals. They're rivals.
I've never clocked that before. That they're the exact same age.
They're not young boys. Well, he's not his young boy. They were rivals. That's what I think it was. And Dragon always kicked his ass in Marine Academy.
It's literally down to the same year, and then it's August 16th for Akainu, and then 2 months later on October 5th for Dragon.
Oh, they're
right there.
I'm changing the theory from young boy to rival. Literally, he was just trying to beat Dragon and he never could. And I feel like he got his position when he made the decision on Ohara, and Dragon was against it, and boom, the split happened at Ohara.
And also, we can keep in mind, for part of that rivalry, if it is true, there's obviously the shadow of Garp overhanging both of them. You know?
And then I feel like Kuzan, he's younger. Kuzan's the young boy. That's what I think it could be, like with like Dragon, and like Kuzan like rocked with him, and I feel like that's why Akainu never really rocked with Kuzan, because his ties to Garp and Dragon. So like that's some theory stuff, but all right. So let's get into Saul, since we gotta talk about it. I'm okay. When it comes to death in One Piece, this is actually what I'm not upset by. Like, I feel like because of all the other deaths that took place and got taken away, I feel like that makes this one worse. But in actuality, time capsule that tells me he did that on purpose. And it makes sense that, like, he was trying to save the books and, like, trying to save Ohara. Like, this is one death that I can excuse. This isn't Pell being exploded by a nuke and living. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one that can make sense.
All right.
Jazz, how you feel about it? Oh, or you can go Versen. Go first.
Oh, I was gonna add on top of that. I've always been a fan of the idea that, like, for instance, Tom of Puffin Tom fame, Frankie's pop-up is still alive, and
he might be.
Yeah, I mean, at least in my opinion, I can kind of easily extrapolate my feelings on if Tom was alive to Saul, which is say I'm pretty fine with it. And listen, I said this in I'm gonna use the exact same phrasing I said whenever it was the Nico Robin versus Black Maria fight, and people were like, Sanji, blah blah blah. The smile we get from Nico Robin makes it worth it for whatever. Like, give her the world. She's had it more rough than anyone. She's been out in these streets running away from pirates, probably being taken advantage of literally her entire life. And now it turns out, she had to come out and, find a will to live, get the Straw Hats, feel safe, and be able to feel a mutual exchange with them.
Now she can finally be at peace.
She's being rewarded with it because she's no longer the sole survivor of the O'Hara incident. Like, she has family that she can connect with too. So even that burden is off of her. Now she doesn't have to feel like, the most specialist person in the world and like the number one entity of the government. There is someone else who can hold that title together with her, and
I like that. That's a good point.
And again, it's all worth it because that one little smile.
I like that. I like that explanation. Jazz, you are not with this, and I feel you with death because I look. Kinemon should be out of here. Like, that dog, that dude dead. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, see, my thing is, and like the Onigashima stuff is one thing, because like Kinemon and Kiku, I feel like they got like poetic poetic ends while Izo and Ashura were kind of like up in the air.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I'll say Izu kind of got a warrior's death more so than Ashura.
Yeah,
Like,
he took on like 5 people before he died.
Yeah,
Ashura just got exploded.
But
the fact that Kinemon got bow on the head and didn't die, I have an issue with that. Only just so he could meet his wife.
Right. So
and Granika's dead. Like y'all niggas, people who were talking about the SBS, Granika's dead. He's not alive.
Yeah,
I feel like he lived a little after, but like then he died.
Yeah,
I think he texted that picture and was like, "Peace, I'm out."
Yeah,
exactly.
That was his last thing.
Like it never said he was alive. It just said he was the one who took the pic. I don't know why that has to equate to him being still alive.
Yep.
Maybe at first I thought he was alive, but then I was like, no, I don't think.
I feel like he was just like Versen said on the ground, took a picture, bio bleeding out. Out of here. But to that point, people like that need to die. Whereas Saul, I get it.
Yeah,
Also, I will mention this about Guernica just because it's interesting. It is also possible that being in the presence of Gear 5 helped him stay on longer. Because Gear 5 does seem to affect people's emotions and stuff, like how whenever he was popping in and out, everyone was getting more cartoon, which usually is saved for Luffy, whenever you notice the style.
Yeah, but because it's awake, it affects it. Yeah, you're a good point.
And how it turned Kaido more rubbery whenever he did the fist thing and the whole thing popped back. I do think, again, I'm not saying it's healing, it's not a Marco thing, but I do think the freedom and joy aspect of it, I think probably held him hold on. And that's when he took the picture and then he pieced out.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Jazz, how you feeling about it? Because you just give us the Jazz take, because I know you're not rocking with this.
So I definitely have been one of the people that's on like the opposite fence from a lot of things, because like the majority of people like it. And like, look, I'm cool with people like it. But for me, so look, I'll say it like this. When I was watching the Ennis Lobby arc, it was actually during like a very like hard time in my life, like when shit was just falling apart. So I felt like
that shit mattered.
Yeah. So like I felt like I could connect to the story of Robin.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like not 1-to-1, but I get where she's coming from, right? And like that scene like with Saul where like he's like giving like where it's like he's giving her this final farewell, and he dies like a D with a smile on his face, or like you know what I mean. But when I saw that Saul was alive, my the gears in my head started turning, because even though I do like that Robin is not alone in being the only survivor from O'Hara, it feels to me, the first thing I thought was the reason Robin is this defined character was because she was the one to carry the will of O'Hara. Even Aokiji says it at the pool party after they like, beat CP9 and like,
Okay,
escape.
let me ask you, not to cut you off, but the fact that I agree with you. Like, she's supposed to be the beating heart of O'Hara. And look, I'll say this. I don't think Saul being alive takes away from that, because she's going to be the one to reveal
like the
Void Century.
Okay. Yeah.
So she, the will of O'Hara and the dreams of O'Hara still continue on through her, more so than Saul. Saul was really, to me, a patsy of someone in the Marines that was just there a lot and grew a connection with them and was like, I got to save these books. These people are real. But when it comes to the real O'Haran, it's Robin.
Yeah, and I will say, finding out like 15, 20 or whatever years after the fact that you're not the only one who went through that trauma does not erase the path and journey of character development and trauma that you experienced. Because you still went through, and I'm not saying you're not saying that, but I will say, for people who said it takes away or whatever, it's like, Robin's entire lived experience is still as the sole survivor. Her being told later, by the way, you weren't the only one, does not erase again like a 20-year span of being, the young girl who had to run. You know what I mean? Again,
it's just like at the time, like I've come to terms with it a little more over the past couple weeks, but like at the time, it left a sour taste in my mouth, because I was just like.
How do you feel about Oda putting it directly in our face of time capsule being the attack?
I didn't notice that. I had to go back and read that because I know he used ice time, but I didn't know it was ice time capsule.
Absolutely.
So like that makes sense why he would be in like bandages and stuff. So maybe he was close enough to like everything that was happening.
That makes
where,
it
like,
different to me
he was
because
like melting
that's a
and shit like
conscious
that.
choice. Like,
Because he wasn't like directly. Because I feel like he wasn't directly killed. Because I don't think we've ever seen Aokiji's ice like kill someone. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
Like we
think so. But
like, I'm
I'll
not
say
sure.
this:
Well,
if he used ice time, he would have died. Straight up.
yeah. It also does. Well, it also brings the fact like the first time I ever see Aokiji does it, he's like, "Hey, I basically flash froze her. If you go like melt her gently, slowly, she'll still live. But if you don't, she's fucked."
She's
So
dead.
even
Yeah, true.
so, even from frame one of Aokiji's powers, we've seen him use it non-lethally. That doesn't mean that you have, and that was before Saul and everything. That was right from jump, right after long.
To that point, again, showing, hey, Aokiji's more than like his ice. It's not necessarily a killer. It can kill if he wants it to, but
exactly. And I think that speaks to him as a character, obviously, and I think it also shows, like, because at the same time, it's also like
sword. Like, is he like?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like,
and it goes to show, like, it could be a killer because he's like, if you guys want to fight me or whatever, instead,
I'll kill you.
Like you'll let your friend die, but I'm telling you right now, this is how it works. If you stop fighting me and you go save her, then she's saved. If you want to instead fuck with me, she's dead.
She's dead. Yep. No, for sure.
Yeah.
And it also is a good, because remember, we just saw him, in the story, he just froze pretty much all of Totland, which is a good reminder.
And they're not dead. Like,
they're probably fine.
He definitely time capsuled them, so Blackbeard would be like, "Yeah, you killed all of them."
Yeah, they're probably people who did die because, but it's not going to be anybody we
major, like Katakuri, nothing like that. So,
no.
But let me ask y'all two things on Aokiji. First, is he sword? Is he, or do we believe that he's really with Blackbeard?
Who in their right mind believes he's really with Blackbeard?
Fair point. And look, I think it was so smart of Oda to do Law versus Blackbeard first and then do this stuff because it shows like, oh, wait, Blackbeard, you ain't really doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Like Aokiji is really playing you. Like Aokiji's been playing this game for a while.
He has to, like, Blackbeard has to know, but I think it's sword because I feel like
that's what I think.
With them bringing Pudding and Pudding being in the same chapter and talking about Law versus Blackbeard, and then like because my thing is like with the sword stuff, we haven't seen X Drake since Wano's ended, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I want to bring that up when we were talking about Onigashima deaths.
Yeah, because like
Hawkins got to be out of here.
I said they said he was missing, right?
Hawkins, yeah.
So
might be dead, might be alive. Who knows?
Oh, also I will point out the same thing, like Saul being brought back, also more or less the chapter after we know where Pudding is and her, third eye and everything. I think it also is very intentional. It is trying to remove Robin from each chess piece because we literally just saw if anyone tries to go grab Robin, it's
over.
Yeah. So that means
you can't do that anymore.
People, it's not just Kid wouldn't attack Luffy and them because they're friends or whatever. No, it's also like literally no, there are other people you can take.
Now is Saul the man marked by flames?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I definitely think so now. Like that definitely solves the mystery because like of the other things didn't really make sense. I was on the Arouge kind of train for a while because I was like,
because everyone wants him to be something.
Yeah, because he's the only supernova we haven't seen yet.
See, now let me ask y'all: with them looking for them, we know Luffy and them going to Elbath. Vegapunk probably going with them. Usopp upgrades. But do we see Kid fight Luffy in Elbath? Does it go down man marked by flames?
Well, now that Shanks has said verbatim he shouldn't be in Elbath anymore, to my knowledge. Because Shanks now, because I think I and everyone else agreed Shanks was going to be in Elbath because Viking and everything. And I still think he might be, but he pretty much said, hey, Ben, we're just going to go straight to the joint, you know. So I don't know.
Yep,
I don't know.
we're
what
going
to
to
do.
hit. We're going to hit Bartolomeo up because he's being too disruptive in our kingdom and make us look bad. Like,
Yeah.
that's where you're going right now, Shanks? What?
Yeah. Well, then after that, he also said, let's just go and take the One Piece. So it's one of those things where maybe he'll pit stop in Elbath, but you know, that remains to be seen. I literally don't know where Shanks is at any given time because you're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
Shanks, I think oh, go ahead, Jazz.
I like that he's an active piece now, because I feel like this makes the quote unquote meeting of Luffy and Shanks a lot more pirate like rather than like buddy, because it's like,
more
okay,
dynamic.
yeah, because it's like, you know, like, you a great pirate now, but I gotta shut you down because you're not finna take my territories. Like,
let me ask you, okay, so is the next thing gonna be Kid versus Luffy, Blackbeard versus Shanks, i.e. Red versus the Sun, the Moon, the flip. Shanks dies, Kid loses, and Luffy now on crash course for Blackbeard. Because I truly believe now it makes sense why you meet Vegapunk to give the Straw Hats the upgrades they need. And not Luffy, Law, or Sanji. I mean, Law. Not Luffy, Zoro, or Sanji. More so Chopper, Usopp, not necessarily Nami because she just got Zeus, and not necessarily Robin because she learned from the Revs, but Frankie, Brook, Usopp, hook them up.
Let me. Well, man, I feel bad because, you know, with One Piece you can go everywhere. Let me ask you a question. Whenever it comes to the Vegapunk weapons, do you think he's going to give them to him here, or do you think if he does, him or one of his hive mind, it is a hive mind, one of his hive minds, hopping onto the ship, with that? Because my question is, do we, like, as we get revealed in the chapter, the big thing is my man's got a massive brain
Punk Records
chilling inside of Punk Records.
Punk Records is the brain.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's in the dome.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so
it's basically the internet. It's Google.
I think as long as like Luffy and them want to protect a Vegapunk, whichever one that ends up being, they'll probably make it off. But do you think they're gonna lose Punk Records, because that might interfere heavily with what he can do for? Yeah, that might fuck with what he can do for them, you know. And the same thing, same problem applies if he doesn't make them weapons right now, or makes them something to help them right now. When he's on Luffy's ship or whatever, yeah, he's gonna have Frankie to help him and like some materials. But it's the same reason why he didn't go with the Revs. They don't have like cash like that, and they don't have the resources he's gonna need. You know, he'll have Frankie with him, and I'll have Usopp. Usopp's a great tinker. Frankie's a great, you know, helmsman, and he knows how to make cybernetics. And they'll have probably a good amount of his knowledge, but like they're just gonna be mashing like sticks together.
But I feel like that's
compared to Punk Records,
I feel like that's a good way to kind of like nerf Vegapunk, because that wasn't that also like the thing with Yamato, like she did, like he didn't know like the whole story of the ancient history. But I feel like a big part in him not like going with the Straw Hats, aside from him staying to guard Wano, was that like he read Odin's journal. So do you think like once Vegapunk gets off the island, like he'll be dumbed down, but they do that so the Straw Hats don't learn, like, because like, yeah, really Vegapunk could just say some stuff about the ancient history at any time. Like,
he did read every book, and that's Robin's job.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good way of like nerfing him and having like a bargaining chip like for the Revs in a sense. Because
or to that point, I agree with Versen, because that is Robin's job. But they just drop his ass off in Elbath and the Revs come pick his ass up. Like, or Luffy meets his dad for the first time, and we finally interact with Dragon. They drop him off on the road, because Vegapunk has to have an idea of where he wants to go. You're asking him to take you off the island. You got to know where you want to go.
Yeah, Vegapunk definitely has an idea in mind, like you said. Like, he's not asking to go to Raft Hill. To my knowledge, it would be insane if you asked to go to Raft Hill, and I'm not totally against it. It'd be funny if we skipped over Yamato and got Vegapunk, but he's a nerf Vegapunk. That would be dude, especially if it's not hot, sexy Vegapunk. It's old man Vegapunk.
If one of the hive mind stays, you do realize it's gonna be the girl we met the first time, Lilith.
I actually want to bring that up. I don't know, because she literally is coded as evil, and it seems like she might actually be prepared to flip and be like,
it's snitch on him.
Yeah, be like, I want to stay with the Marines so I can keep my resources. Like, I think that might be interesting.
Okay, So okay, wait. I'm about to pull them up. Which ones do y'all think are good? Which one do y'all think are like neutral? Where are we feeling with some of these guys?
Definitely the good
and
one
gals?
definitely the good one is Shaka. He seems like the
Okay.
like, I mean, like, even though he's logic,
He's
I
called
feel
the
like
good.
yeah, like
he's Shaka the good. Damn, that makes me think Law's gonna die.
Yeah. Atlas the violent, Edison the thinker, Shaka the good, Lilith the evil, Pythagoras the wise,
okay.
York the great. Honestly, if we're talking about who's the best to fit on the crew, it's probably York or one of the two little weirdos.
Pythagoras or Edison.
Yeah, honestly, I think the least likely right now is Shaka, followed by Lilith, just because as much as I think Lilith is is most like princessy or whatever, the fact that she opened up the statement by saying, "I work for the Marines. I'm their head scientist." And granted, she didn't like try to murder the Straw Hats. She just tried to intimidate them. But I really don't think that she's been warmed to the Straw Hats yet. I think she actually kind of thinks it's a sweet gig, and therefore would be willing to sell them out.
Ooh.
But again, I don't.
But it's like, who do you sell them out? Like Rob Lucci getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait for that. Can't wait for Rob Lucci to get fucking handled.
I can't believe they was pulling up to the island like they was about to do something.
Does Rob Lucci fight Luffy or does he fight Sanji? I think he fights Sanji.
Please don't make him look. My thing is like, I know it's probably not gonna happen. Don't make him fight the strongest four. Please make him fight Robin. I want to see Robin whip this nigga ass.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's happening, Jazz. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if Robin is as strong as Rob Lucci. I really don't think so.
Oh no, I don't need Robin to beat. I don't need Robin to beat him. I just
you
need
just
Robin
want him to fight,
like smack him real good one time. You know? What I'm
okay, now
do that thing where she puts his balls in a vice, and then it's revealed Rob Lucci doesn't have any or something.
If it's Sanji that fights him, he better not lose. God, he can't lose.
You know he is.
No,
Oda gonna do that. You know Oda gonna do that. As much as I love Sanji, you know Oda gonna do that.
I don't know, man.
I don't know because he's been setting this up for a while. It seems.
Right now we got Zoro Kaku rematch.
Maybe. Maybe people will be pissed if Zoro fights Kaku and Sanji fights.
He going back for the light skin rematch.
Chopper can fight the pigeon.
Yeah, and Stussy sit on the sidelines.
the pigeon gets a mask. The pigeon is part of CB0.
Oh yeah, no, the pigeon is more scary to me than Stussy. Yeah. Like, what the fuck Stussy gonna do?
Nami's is probably gonna make Mitsumi out of Stussy, but man. But yeah, it really is those three. That's it. Pigeon, and then the Kuma, which as we saw in the last part of the chapter, the Kuma might also be a hive mind and therefore not fight.
Wait. The Kuma they have is the Seraphim, but the Kuma I'm interested in is the one that's
ours.
Yeah, the one that's running to fucking Vegapunk right now to stop Rob Lucci's ass. Because that's what I think he's doing. I think he knows that Vegapunk's in danger and he's going to save him.
Funny enough, by the way, I literally did turn to page 13 just to get the panel spread of who all is in CP0 right now.
Ooh, okay.
And in that same exact thing, like a panel later, Lilith literally says, "So we'll just hand them over. Rob Lucci's an assassin, right?" So she might overcome that, or it might be mostly a joke because she says it with a big ass smile on her face. But no, I'm telling you guys, Lilith is constantly being like, "Let's sell them out. Let's fuck them over. Let's turn in the bounty to get
Lilith
money so we can." Yeah, like that might be her quirk. That might be her funny little thing, and she learns to eventually be friends with the Straw Hats. But at least right now, they're hard selling her not fucking with them at all.
I'm so interested in Shaka. Like, what's up with this Daft Punk Uteron fucking character?
I can't from the moment I saw Shaka, I was like, this is literally Daft Punk. Like this is and I like it. Because
I like it too.
You gotta do something. Records,
He's too cool to live, in my opinion.
Oh, you gotta die. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Sacrifice himself for the real Vegapunk.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
they're probably all supposed to, don't know if it is true. They're probably all supposed to have a prime directive where it's like you have like the law of robotics or whatever, and if not number one at the very least in that list is probably you will all die for actual Vegapunk.
Yep, I could see it. It.
Unless he's chosen like a proper successor or something. But I don't think that with the reveal that they all share a fucking digestive system, I don't think he plays favorites. I think he literally sees them as all one thing, because he's all facets of me and he made them the way that they are. I think he values all of them. relatively.
separately. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you. Anything else that we're missing that we need to touch on?
We only brushed on the Kuma stuff. Well,
go ahead.
And also the ancient weapon stuff, which I mean,
we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the giant without the fucking right fuel source, is the fuel source going to be cola? Like, is that just me like giving Frankie too much credit?
Is Bink Sake the old version and Cola's the new hotness? Is Bink Sake also a metaphor, but is also literally like ancient gasoline or whatever that was also just alcohol?
I kind of like that.
And Frankie's like, I wanted to make it age appropriate for everyone, so it's cola now.
Look,
that makes sense.
That's crazy.
I wonder what's this power source? If it's
what's it gonna be like?
Because Lilith was talking about making a sun in chapters prior.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have a sun god on the island.
Yep, I want to make a sun with Lilith too.
Also, my thing is, it's like, okay,
jazz.
That's some jazz. That's some you struck right up his alley. But my thing is, it's interesting because Vegapunk didn't get to meet Frankie when he went to his lab, so he didn't get to see the cola technology. What if now he sees it like, what the fuck? It's cola, bro. That would blow my mind. It would literally be like, oh, Frankie was supposed to do this the whole time. Like, he's vital to all of this.
He's like, yeah, wow, this is a magnificent ship. What's it run on?
Coke. Vegapunk, if that happens, they're gonna do the jaw thing.
He's like, what? Oh, speaking of, we didn't touch on this. It's not like a super major part, but I just thought it was really funny. So when Vegapunk was talking to Jinbei, Bonnie, Chopper, and Luffy, Vegapunk was like, oh yeah, you guys were recently in Wano, right? I heard there was a dragon there.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, like Momo, he's great. Like he's like, the guardian deity of Wano now. And he's like, oh yeah, like I replicated that fruit. It took me like 20 years. And then he's like, but what color was this? He's like pink, and he's like, oh no, man,
my greatest failure.
And I love that. Like, this was such like I wouldn't really say it was a throwaway theory, but like a lot of people were like, maybe Vegapunk just thinks the devil fruit is a failure because it's pink. And I like that. That's because realistically, it can do everything that Kaido can do.
And the funny thing is, because he is so meticulous and perfect, the fact that he called it a failure made it so the world government never really
like even touched it
to not just touch it, but push to recreate other devil fruits. Because if he failed at the Kaido one, and it took 20 years, we can't wait another 20 years for him just to fail again.
Which, like, also,
i.e., the SSG is born. I really feel like Devil Fruit Soldiers was gonna be the answer, but then when Kaido's thing failed, the SSG Pika laser stuff is what came.
Yeah, they were like,
I mean, not Pika, Lord.
You're thinking about Pikachu's and also about Twitter.
Yeah, no. Fucking Kuma. But yeah, so interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, also to that Vegapunk point. So like when it comes to, which is interesting, he said it took 20 years.
20 is crazy.
That fruit, but then we see the Seraphim Jinbei using Senior Pink's fruit. So I don't like, the thing is, like, I know they arrested like the Don Quixote pirates after Dressrosa.
Yeah, including top 5 in the verse Pika.
So like, but is he top 5? Because no Seraphim got his powers.
Yeah,
maybe Senor Pink is
finally a match for Pika.
Yeah, but it's like, if he recreated that fruit, do you think Vegapunk just has access to like people's blood that have been imprisoned and impaled down? Because
at
the very least, like, it's Cell Saga style, where there's Turns out there's been mosquitoes all the fucking time that are just
that are just cyborgs, like
yeah, just going out with little syringes, taking a little bit from everyone.
Yep.
You know,
because
I truly think he has a lock on all of that. Like all of that.
I think the important thing is if we start to see people who have abilities that aren't affiliated with the government somehow, because right now it's 7 warlords or people who have been captured or straight up admirals, like you know.
And what's interesting, we haven't even seen a Law version with Law's fruit. I don't know if we're gonna see that.
Yeah, but Law was only in there for like 5 seconds.
Exactly. But that's my point. Yeah.
Do you think it's the only like the original 7? Like, because
I think they're gonna have a Weevil.
That's what I was about to ask. It's like, what would they even take from Weevil? As far as I can tell, he's just strong. Which I mean is valuable. I feel
like that's what they would use.
Hey, bro, I'm sorry. I completely forgot Weevil was in the story, bro. When you said that name, I was like, who the fuck is that?
Weevil and Miss Baki. Hey, it's been so long. Like, they haven't done shit. But honestly, I feel like that's maybe who Marco saw when he flew to that island.
Almost definitely. And that means either Marco handled him or he's going to be waiting for a snail bath. I don't fucking know.
Okay. Anything else that we're missing?
I think that's.
Is that it?
Was it 1066 where? No, it wasn't. It was a few chapters ago where I really want to talk about Kuma in general because we're finally getting more talk about him. You know, a few chapters ago, Jinbei was like, "Hey, Bonnie, not to be mean or whatever, but I heard your dad was kind of a dick." And then Bonnie was like, "Yeah, all right, guy who." You know, set loose.
She wants to say some racist shit right there.
Well,
anytime I feel like somebody's arguing with a fish man, I feel like they're ready to just hit him with the whatever the One Piece version is of the ER of the hard R.
Just about to hit him with the nice strong. By the way, how's Fisher Tiger doing? Ooh. He's still alive. He hanging out. Also, Arlong. That's the thing.
That's cold-blooded. That's worse than the slur.
But yeah, man. Like, so what do you let's talk about Kuma. Okay. What do you guys think is happening with Kuma? Not just in the chapter, but in general,
okay. I got you. To me, I don't know about like the robot side, but I can talk about what I think who the guy was. I think Kuma was a tyrant. I think Dragon the Marine came and they, worked it out, whatever it may be. And I think the friendship grew and I think they became contemporaries. And I think he was the first lieutenant to join, then Ivankov joined. Funny enough, I think Kuma was the first.
See, I might flip a little bit. I think
Go ahead.
Telling me between the two, I think I'd probably leave a little bit more like Ivankov because if I can just get in a little bit of like somewhat real world history right now. Ivankov compared to Kuma by their very nature, and for anybody who's about to take what I say out of context, part of the community, Ivankov's a freak. Like even in modern like contemporary society, people treat people like Ivankov and Okama and what have you, and trans people and all that. They generally put them out on the outer edge of society, and a lot of times, similar at the same time with, Black folk and what have you. Your politics are, defined by how you experience life and being part of like an underclass. And I just don't, I think Ivankov probably met Dragon somewhere, and it might even be possible that Eva helped Dragon become more that way, because generally whenever you become friends with these people or you become someone like that, you find like-minded people, you develop and you over time and you become something more radical. Like it could be possible that Dragon kind of fell out of grace with the Marines, or at least the Marine structure, because of hard feelings about his dad and his dad being obsessed with finding Roger and this, that, or the other, and then therefore met up with Ivankov and they started talking and like, man, the whole system's kind of fucked up, right? Like you see how they treat us, you guys see what happens to islands that can't afford to pay the taxes, and then eventually they find Kuma the Tyrant. And then eventually, like the two of them together, I think is what you need, because Kuma was, may or may not have been a tyrant. I kind of agree with you. I think he was probably a bad person. Yeah. I think Kuma's story is a redemption thing, and I think that you need at least two people to help push him in that regard. And I think that is Eva and Dragon both. Eva to be like the furthest extreme of it, and Dragon to be like, hey, I used to also be part of the system, or I used to see value in the system, and come with me down to the streets of the people you take care of and see, like, you know, you're not the
What
best
this
king.
is.
And
Yeah.
the system's fucked.
And see, even though we disagree on where who was first and whatnot, I agree with you with Dragon walking him through, showing him how shitty of a person he was. Because that's how I think they became friends. I'm trying to find his age. If I can get his age, then we'll know more so about how real contemporary they are.
Also, wasn't so he said Kuma was a part of a special race, and
that threw me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I was
45.
like, I have.
How old is Dragon?
53.
55.
So,
I thought he was
55.
I thought he was
55 post time skip.
Oh,
yeah, so just add 2 years to both. So 47 and 55 now. So it's 8 years either way.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so a good little bit.
I think they are a little contemporary-ish action.
And that actually that does help because it makes it leads us to believe that it's possible Kuma was a young king at that point. So he might have been young in his time as a tyrant.
Good
therefore,
point. Even more so
able to change.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. All right,
it's
Jazz, what you
Kuma
have?
was like 70 years old and he was like 50 when it happened, and
he was an old ass man. Yeah, true.
I was just saying how like it's like look, I can't theorize because I have no clue what it could be. But like how
about the race?
I
have no idea.
How Kuma was like a special race. The only thing I can go off on is how Big Mom was saying it was the 3 races she had before she met King. So now it's down to 2. That's as far as I can get. I don't know what it is unless it's like, well, no, we've already met Onis and we already know about ancient giants. I just don't know what other race it would be if it's not like people literally come from the moon.
Doesn't Kuma have long-ish arms, long-ish legs? Maybe he's from the long leg, long arm tribe.
Would you consider them special though?
True, fair enough.
Also, whenever the long arm tribes have to have 2 joints in their arms, and I think Kuma.
Kuma doesn't have that.
I think Kuma is just One Piece cartoony style exaggerated.
Fair
also,
enough.
Keep in mind the Kuma we're seeing now is post cyborg, so it's like
true. So anything else we missing? We talk Kuma, we talk Dragon, Vegapunk, Hive Mind. It's a hive mind. Just letting y'all know, hive mind.
Yeah.
Anything else?
For the record, for anyone who doesn't think it's a hive mind, again, as we joked about off mic, they literally share a colon.
Yeah.
If it's not even hive mind, and it does seem to be the case of they all have like, you know, they'll like go dump their thoughts at the end of the day into punk records, kind of like
and they share that. They share that brain. Pretty soon, everybody's gonna share that brain, and that's where Jinbei was like, trolls on the internet are fucked. Or fuck.
He's like, yeah.
That was Oda speaking to us directly. That was the only time I can point where Oda's like, hold up, I'm jumping out the story to talk about our world real quick. It's fucked.
I feel like that was just him, and like just in general, just like being like, yeah, everybody's opinion. Like, not saying everybody's opinion shouldn't be valued, but he's like, don't you think if everybody had a say in knowledge, it'd be a little screwed?
Fucked? Yeah.
Yeah.
With fake news and all of that.
Not just that, but also it's like, I mean, just the 3 of us talking on this podcast where it's like, I don't really want to share a brain with Jazz. I mean, or really for you either.
I mean,
I've been on no Twitters, and that's enough knowing your brain already.
I understand where you're coming from.
And vice versa. I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, I really just want my own brain. Like, I wouldn't want to share a brain with anybody. Like, not even my girlfriend. Like, nobody. Yeah. So I get that.
Like, imagine having to share the same brain with like Vasco Shot. Like, please no.
Gross. That dude. I still feel like that's who dark horse for who Sanji fights because of that rapey comment he made. I feel like he's gonna be the rapist of the Blackbeard Pirates.
I do think that Vegapunk's overall plan, I think, I don't think a lot of people agree with it. I think it is highly valuable, and I don't think that's where like the story is going to go at the end of the day, especially a story that's all about freedom, which I don't necessarily think everyone becoming a hive mind necessarily makes it to where no one's free. I think that's a very reductive view about what freedom is or what it could be in a society. Because One Piece is also a story about a bunch of misfits coming together and working together, you know, so it's definitely like there's a long running dialogue whenever it comes to like individualism versus what have you, whenever it comes to especially Western fiction. But what I did want to mention, so Vegapunk's like the homie now, like he's a friend. Like,
yep.
Especially now that we found Vegapunk Prime, you know,
and he wants to catch a ride.
Yeah. So my question for you guys is, because we haven't talked about her like at all, especially since it does conjoin with the Kuma stuff. What Bonnie gonna do now?
That's the one person.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where I'm like,
she's here for a reason.
I feel like she is, but right now I feel like she's the MacGuffin. Like, you're here because we need you here for us to learn about other stuff.
Because I feel like her arc. I feel like her arc has to end here because she has to get close. Because like it's on
very
the
plot
island,
devicey right now.
Yeah, like she's on the island where her father was experimented on. He it seems like the cyborg.
He's
Kuma
running there
running to the island. It feels like it's supposed to it's supposed to wrap up now because past then even they've said even Vegapunk said Bonnie, I don't really have a use for her ability.
She's not strong, so what you gonna do?
You know what I'm saying? Not unless he wanted her to turn the Seraphims older or something, but but that's the only thing I can really think about.
Oh, that actually is a good point. I don't even know do we even know if the Devil Fruits work with them? Maybe, I suppose. It turns into a case of some Devil Fruits only seem to work on people,
inanimate objects.
Seem to work in some, and then some can do a little bit of both, but it depends. So it just we saw Shinobu's fruit evidently work for both. She withered down on the bottom, and then she withered Momo. So I guess they're have we ever seen her age like a fucking cheese or something?
I think it's always been
people. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess that would be a very interesting thing for if the Seraphim are technically human.
I just don't know if Bonnie has anything interesting to do right now, which is crazy to say.
We brought up the idea of a bunch of bugs or whatever taking blood from various people across the world for Vegapunti's experiments.
The bug lifesaver.
There is the bug cloud.
Yep.
Now not all of them are mosquitoes. There's actually a bunch of scarabs, it looks like.
And beetles.
But yeah. So I don't know. I really was one of the proponents of the idea of Bonnie being the one to do it, but then once it was clear we weren't going to bring in more of the the Supernova into Wano, I was like, all right, fine, Shinobu can do it, it's fine. So yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think ultimately, if her aging up the Seraphim is going to be a question on whether or not we can make them friendly, or not. Because
because they're already pretty deadly as kids.
Yeah,
I don't want
adult Mihawk out there.
No, dude, make adult Mihawk happen. That way, we don't have Shiryu slicing Mihawk in half. We have Kid, Angel, fucking partially.
Zoro wanna beat that Mihawk because he black.
That's true. His fight or flight would activate immediately.
Oh man, that's pretty much everything from these chapters. Versen, tell people they can follow you on social media.
Hi everyone. So yeah, my name is Versen. You can follow me at Versen the Vassal on Twitter. I am in the slow but sure process of getting multiple different ults for multiple different things, but that's still the main, and to be honest, probably always will be the main, at least until Twitter burns out. So yeah.
Jazz, tell people they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me on Twitter at Real Jazzy Boy. Follow me on Instagram, Jazzy Boy. Follow me on TikTok, Cornell D God. I've been ranting a lot today, and I apologize. I've been ranting.
I love it. Jazz has been killing it on TikTok. Look, real talk. If Twitter dies, y'all need to follow me and Jazz, especially on TikTok. But you need to join the Discord for real. If you listen to us and you like the pods, the videos, if Twitter goes away, the only way we'll be able to communicate with y'all, obviously through IG, Facebook, but it's through Discord. You're gonna need to be in the Discord. It's gonna be worth it. Trust me. Link in the bio. But you can follow me at LinBWT on Twitter. Follow Broski Think at Broski Think on Twitter. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups. Follow me on TikTok at Lyndon James Burton. And you can follow me on Mastodon at LynBWT at nerdculture.de. Mastodon. Weird. I don't like it. I don't know how it works. It's fucking strange. But
the Discord is the Discord's very curated, by the way. We have good people there. We don't we don't let just any old troll or whatever go hang out.
Yes, we do. We have people that lock in and take care of it. So I appreciate all y'all in the Discord.
Yes,
link in the bio.
Join the anime talk. We doing the Pika versus Queen debate.
Oh
2
my
p.m.
gosh.
Eastern Standard
Time.
Time.
Oh my
tomorrow.
gosh. I'm sleeping through that. Oh my gosh. Y'all don't know what we talk about. We're gonna end on that note. That's everything. Y'all go follow my guys. Y'all can follow me. And until next time, y'all have a good one. Peace.